rooms without Craig Kamanis today, coming to you from my different living room. So there's a bit more of an echo here, but hopefully you can hear me along the way quite well. So what we're going to do today is delve in on a solo mission to talk about pricing, just as a reminder for the next 15-20 minutes on the importance of pricing every client appropriately. Every single client should be priced profitably, and how we can build this pricing muscle over time. So a couple of little memes to get us started, because that's how I roll and that's what we like here. So first and foremost, when a client asks whether they can do it cheaper, first and foremost, what have we got on the screen? We've got half-done horses, and we've got a horse wrapped around the balustrade. That would be my favorite one of all. So what the client is asking you versus what you're being asked is that what the client is asking you is, can you do the same high quality job using your skills, education, and experience for less money? And the answer to that is no. To the question, can you do it for cheaper, and you can decrease the quality or decrease the deliverables, that's what you have on the screen there. And so one of the tactics and discussion points with the client is that, do they want to have a decrease in quality by virtue of paying you less? Do they want to have less service by paying you less? And so great couple of memes just to build your pricing muscle around what you should be doing and talking about in relation to that. Second thing on the bottom left-hand corner, for those that live in Sydney, that is a rug shop that was on Victoria Road that was closing down for 10 years straight. So that was their sales tactic to get people in. They were closing down. We all know that rug shops around Australia, maybe even around the world, are all going out of business and closing down. This particular one was closing down for 10 years, as I said, but it even went through 3 different owners, and it maintained that. And one of the reasons was it was actually quite expensive to take down the closing down sign, so they just left it there. And finally, this guy from the auction TV show in America, the best I can do is the actual price. Is at some point in time, there's no more negotiating. The price is the price, and that's the best that I can do. For those that are thinking about your experience, these 2 things on the screen just build you a little bit of muscle around the experience. You're not paying for the 30 minutes that it took me to do the job. You're paying for the years, the 10 years that it took me to learn how to do this, to get here today so that I could do it in 30 minutes. You're paying me for the years, not the minutes. And this invoice on the screen here, I'm sure some of you have heard this story before, but it is all about how a particular shipbuilder, engine broke down in a ship. They needed someone to fix it. All these people tried to come and fix it. Someone finally came and fixed it, gave them a bill for £10,000. It's extraordinary. The ship owner said, well, can you give me an itemized bill? And it was simply $5 for the hammer and $9,995 for knowing exactly where to hit at the right time. And so that's a good story for us in and around experience, just to keep us aware of what we should be thinking about for the pricing of our services when we're thinking about our experience overall. I'm going to jump through a few different slides here as we go along for those people watching live. This is something Craig Kamanis and I talk about often in terms of pricing. And I say that we, meaning you and I and the listener, we have a greater problem with our pricing than our customers do. And something that Craig talks about often is that once we've worked out the price, it's up to the client to assess the price and value. We can do planning to explain it, but we shouldn't be in the point where we're saying client won't pay that. It's like, how do you know? You haven't asked the client whether they would pay it or not. So being aware of our own limitations in terms of pricing and how that flows on to what we're taking to the client in terms of the price. I think key is that every client should be profitable. So we do need a disciplined approach with pricing with all clients, and we need to look at the most likely the bottom end of that list and work out which clients are not that profitable, and do one of 2 things and be brave to do one of 2 things, and that is increase the price and or be willing to let that client go to another service provider, or unfortunately, as it stands at the moment, perhaps not be able to get ongoing advice. They could probably get transactional advice, but not ongoing advice. from your particular business. So that's my lesson around pricing overall. We know a lot about different pricing models, but as the slide updates, what I wanted to share with you, I think it's the slide before actually. One of the challenges we have with pricing is that sometimes we're just not comfortable. So we have to be really clear just in terms of these pricing models overall. We need to be clear on what our price is for our service, dollars and cents, but also how we explain it. Explaining financial planning prices is very complicated. And so because we have initial fees, we have ongoing fees, we've got insurance commissions, we might get mortgage commissions, then we put them into products, and we've got to talk about Hub 24's fees, fund manager fees, RE fees, et cetera, et cetera. And so all of the conversation around fees can get awkward because of the complexity. And so what I like to tell when I'm talking to clients about fees, I like to go through a 3-step process when we're talking about the fees. And so the 3-step process is to set up, firstly, explain what our service packages are, then secondly, how fees work, and then thirdly, what the fees are. And so this process actually breaks it down into the 3 steps so that the clients can be taken on a journey to us telling them the price. Okay. Obviously, this is not necessarily in a first meeting, but in a meeting where you've already delivered part of the meeting. But what we want to communicate first and foremost is, Mr. and Mrs. Client, this is the service that we have. We have a wealth mentor program. This is our program for strategic advice where we take you from where you are today to where you're heading over the next 10 years. We make sure that we cover all the key strategy areas such as superannuation, cash flow, estate planning, investments and structures, insurance and debt. Take care of all of these strategies, and then we're going to build you a financial plan, which we will change and monitor with you over time. 2 things I guarantee is your situation and the world around you will change over time. And so we've built a package and a plan that makes sure that you're in touch with us and we're in touch with you on an ongoing basis. The way in which we charge for our fees, so this is moving to section 2. The way in which we charge for our fees is as follows. We charge an initial fee for you to become a client. That allows us to do all the initial research to get up to speed with your situation and make some strategic recommendations. We also charge a monthly fee, a monthly retainer, for you to stay a client on an ongoing basis. Now that retainer is for a minimum of 12 months. So we'd expect we would work with you for a minimum of 12 months, but the vast majority of our clients work with us on an ongoing basis because, as I said earlier, those changing worlds and situations means they need someone in their pocket that they can call on when their situation changes. And finally, our fees are this. And you'll say our initial fee is, including GST, our initial fee is $4,400 to become a client. And then you'll pay $480 for a month for a minimum of 12 months. After 12 months, we index it with inflation. And that's an explanation of our fees. And so that was a little bit of a role play because Craig wasn't here. I was just talking to myself. But breaking it down into those 3 parts takes the client on a journey as to what the service is. We've named it Wealth Mentor. We can see it, touch it, feel it, and understand the moving parts. We understand that how the fees work. There's an initial fee and then there's a monthly fee. So it's broken down ahead of time. And then you can say the fees with confidence because you've taken them on that journey. And so we want to practice each element of that pitch in order to make sure that we're confidently explaining our services, confidently explaining how the fees work, and then confidently asking or telling the clients what the fees are overall. Just update a slide and have a look at what we've got going on here. So one of the interesting things that I talk often about is this Robin Hood strategy. So Robin in reverse almost. Robin Hood used to steal from the rich to give to the poor. And so what has happened in our financial planning businesses is that if we're implementing the Robin Hood strategy in our business, what are we doing? Well, we're stealing from someone, and let's talk about who we're stealing from. So firstly, If you're implementing the Robin Hood strategy of stealing from the rich to give to the poor, you're stealing from yourself. Now, how are you stealing from yourself? I feel like you're stealing from yourself in terms of time, access to profit, and your happiness. If you undercharge a particular client, you are going to have to work longer hours as a result. If you undercharge a client, you will have less profit. If you undercharge a client, you will be less happy as a result because you have to work with that client, even though they're not making you any money. So you are stealing from yourself. The second person you're stealing from, or group of people, is actually your staff, because they're learning to undervalue what they do within your business because you're not charging appropriately. And your staff know just as well as you, perhaps better sometimes, that your price is inappropriate for that client, because sometimes the staff get all the phone calls and you don't, so they know the time spent on particular clients. So if we underprice a client and do the Robin Hood strategy, our staff are impacted as well. And finally, our clients are impacted, whether they know it or not. No client would like to know that they're being charged a fair price, but they're being charged a price that is less than others for exactly the same service and deliverable. Now, no client is the same. However, the service that we deliver to clients is pretty similar. If you think about the time, the complexity, and the problems that we solve, there's a lot of commonality there. And so charging some clients full price so that you can discount other clients is not fair. And if you spoke to any client, they wouldn't be happy with that. So none of those elements are fair. And so we want to not do the Robin Hood strategy as a result. And my challenge to you is to be pricing each and every client at an appropriate level. Just go to the next slide and have a sip of water. We don't need to talk about that one today. So one of the things that we talk about when we're forecasting the number of clients and our growth within the business, we need to think about the sales funnel of how many opportunities that we need to get in front of in order to get the right clients in the door. So what we need to do at the forecasting growth side of our pricing is that we've worked out what the ideal price is to solve the problem. Now we need to work out, well, how many clients do I want to bring in at that ideal price? If you're full beyond anything else, if you're full or getting full in terms of your business, you would never bring clients into your business that aren't paying the right fee. So if we take a look at this as how many opportunities do I need in my business in order to be successful? So first and foremost, the number and quality of those opportunities is key, first and foremost. So how many opportunities? And then we need to obviously be thinking about how successful we are in terms of those initial meetings. So how many initial meetings do I need to have based on prospects that I've seen? And then how many do I need to engage in order to meet my business goals? And so it's a tiering across everything that we need to be completely aware of. I need to sign up 20 clients. If I need to sign up 20 clients, I need to probably have, and I'm making the numbers up, 40 initial meetings. In order to get 40 initial meetings, how many prospective meetings do I need to have? And that could be 80. And then so you say how many opportunities, not meetings, but how many opportunities do we need is 80. So everyone in financial planning should have better sales stats than that. But we've got to work out those 80 is the problem that we need to solve, not the 20 clients. So if we focus our effort on going, well, how am I going to get the opportunities? What activities am I doing to get in front and get names and contact details of 80 opportunities so that I can take them on a journey to get 20 ideal clients? That's the goal overall for your business. And so how are we going to do that? So one of the things that we do at the Wealth Network, I'll just go to the next slide in terms of the pricing muscle, is that we run Practice Your Pitch. And so for everyone that's listening, that's my client, they can come along, but also anyone else that's interested, I want you to work out both how you can do it with me, but also how you can do it internally in your businesses. The idea that we go and have client meetings, I think I've got my grand final image. The idea that we go and have client meetings and we try new things in client meetings that we haven't practiced with our team is the problem. So practice your pitch is don't try new things on your grand final day. So ultimately, in your businesses today, you have enough people that you could practice explaining your service. You can practice explaining how fees work, and you can practice telling clients what the fees are. And it is vital in terms of getting better at each of those elements is to practice out loud with your colleagues so that you can get feedback on how you went in that process. And so that's what practice your pitch, if you were to do it in your own business or with me, allows you to actually do. And so we get a better confidence in being able to communicate this to clients because we've done it before. Don't try new things on your own on grand final day. We get some feedback as a result of doing it with our friends because they hear it and they ask questions, or it allows you to clarify your message. What you're able to do then is you can adapt your message as well. So adapting your message means that you're being technical when you need to be technical, but really high level when you need to be high level. My saying around this is that we need to give clients the minimal amount of information such that they feel confident to make a decision. That amount of information will be different from high-level executives that are used to delegating to engineers that need to know more of the details. So your role is not to give everyone everything, it's to give everyone the right amount of information so that they feel comfortable and confident to make a decision to act. And so we need to practice these elements on an ongoing basis in order to feel confident in ourselves to do it. So that's a little bit shorter Uncommon Sense today. No Craig Kamanis to distract me, nor no Craig Kamanis to ask and add in here as well. He assures me he will be back next fortnight for episode 661. But I think in closing, pricing is very important. It's essential to be confident and comfortable with the price that we charge. We need to value the work that we do, and we need to be able to take those fees to the client and be able to communicate them in an appropriate manner so clients feel confident in the value that you will create, understand the service that you will provide, and therefore are willing and able to pay the fee that you've quoted for that professional work. Thanks for your time, and we will see you on episode 61 in a fortnight. Cheers.